Australia calling. Come with us from Fremantle, the western gateway to Australia, on a tour of 5,000 miles covering all states of the Commonwealth. First, we must take a peep from the heights of Kings Park at Perth, the sunny capital of Western Australia. Across the beautiful waters of the Swan River is South Perth. From Perth, it's but a stone's throw to a vast area contributing to Australia's status as one of the world's big four producers of wheat. Possibly the tourist will admire this golden ocean as a spectacle, but the practical person realizes its commercial importance. This commodity, which grows so bountifully on these sunlit plains, needs no salesman. The demand for it will always be constant. We must answer the ringing crack of the axe and enter the shady forest of rich, pungent greenery. Jarrah and Carry from Western Australia are known the world over for their durability as railway sleepers, paving blocks and building timbers. The compelling beauty of woodland scenes never ceases to fascinate. But the lure of gold is perhaps stronger than that of Dame Nature, which brings us to Kalgoorlie and the richest colour of all, gold. The Golden Mile of Kalgoorlie is admitted to be the most productive square mile of gold-bearing soil on the face of the globe. The transcontinental train service has bridged the previous gap between Kalgoorlie and Port Augusta, a distance of over 1,000 miles, introducing travellers to the intermediate Aboriginal neighbours. Descendants of a race older than history, belonging to the Stone Age, these curly-headed gentlemen are as friendly as Shirley Temple. They relish the opportunity of demonstrating their prowess with the boomerang and other weapons peculiar to their ancient heritage. With 15 miles, or pardon me, 1,500 miles covered, we emerge from the warm heart of Australia to refresh ourselves in the Garden of Bacchus. Here we are in time to see grape picking in South Australia, the largest wine-producing state in the Commonwealth. In addition to wine, this state is a large contributor to Australia's dried fruits industry. This little strip of loveliness, transported direct from the counties of England, is Mount Lofty, Adelaide's fashionable country resort. Adelaide abounds in charming settings, and this sample is North Terrace, or Education Row as they call it, because of its many educational institutions. The Torrens River, another attractive feature of the South Australian capital, leads to the sea, and a life on the ocean waves is a jolly experience, especially when it leads to Hobart, the capital of Tasmania and cradle of Australia's thrilling earliest history. The spectacle of sailing on the Derwent in the vicinity of Hobart is unspeakably beautiful. This same river, winding a placid course through the Derwent Valley, gives New Norfolk, with its hop gardens and apple orchards, the peaceful calm of old-world tranquility. The artistic virtues of Tasmania are closely associated with the practical in the shape of Tasmanian beauties. The abundance of these health-giving, rosy red apples would make the average doctor turn green. If you happen to be an angler, I know you'll want to stay at Tasmania's Great Lakes. They represent the angler's paradise. It's no use doubting fish stories told in these parts. Back on the mainland at Port Melbourne, front door to Victoria's capital, Melbourne, the refreshing home of a dignified million, the second largest city in Australia, and ranking 6th in the British Empire. Melbourne on the Yarra, the Henley of the Southern Hemisphere, a mere 100 yards from the heart of an imposing metropolis. This is Prince's Bridge, the gateway to the city. The link between the bridge and beautiful garden suburbs is St Kilda Road, truly exquisite with its plantation-lined avenues, vying in splendour with the world's most famous boulevards, overlooked by a solemn shrine of remembrance. But here is a thoroughfare of matchless beauty. The sweeping curves of the Black Spur, designed by nature, penetrating the treasure store of peerless mountain joys. The bush, using the vernacular, is the home of Australia's unique fauna. The best loved is the koala or native bear. Lovely little bundles of soft, cuddlesome fluff. Who could possibly remain unmoved by the sight of such captivating gentleness? I'm referring strictly to the koalas, of course. There's nothing spectacular about the source of the Yarra, but its restful qualities have subtle tonic value. The rippling music of the waters, the rich colour of natural flora, and the quaint fascination of unique fauna never fail to induce that elusive condition of content. Leaving the colourful expanse of wattle blossom, Australia's national golden emblem, we move on to the southwestern district of Victoria. Colac, the centre of a prosperous area where, nurtured by the richness of attractive pastures, dairy herds contribute the nutritious milk that provides Australia and the world with excellent butter. You need no introduction to Mr. Kangaroo, so essentially Australian, typifying by amazing leaps and bounds the speedy but calculated advance of the youngest nation. With flocks of sheep contributing over a quarter of the world's total production of wool, this industry plays an important part in Australia's progress. With modern mechanical devices, the shearing is simple and speedy. Australia's superb wool, so soft and silky, is best appreciated on top of a snow-capped world at Mount Kosciuszko or Mount Buffalo, right on top of the Australian Alps. Enthralling scenes of alpine magnificence, toboggan and ski runs over soft, powdery snow, and the refreshing contact with gay-hearted revelers make this realm a never-to-be-forgotten experience. Powered locomotive draws us to Australia's federal capital. Canberra, another Washington in the making, with its own White House, where members of the federal parliament legislate and deliberate in the shaping of Australia's destiny. The Torrens River is the source of Canberra's water supply. But have you seen our harbour? Sydney Harbour combines all the virtues of practical and artistic excellence. Sheltered, spacious, shapely, sublime. Skirted by the graceful sweeps of multi-shaped bays, coves and inlets, ploughed by an energetic fleet of ferry boats, and reflecting the billowy white sails of pleasure craft, this haven bears the stamp of distinction. Crowned by the majesty of a mighty single-span bridge, the attractive situation of Taronga Park overlooking the harbour, with a vast collection of animals from the deepest jungle to the highest mountain, makes this zoo a never-ending source of delight. Here are just a few of the reasons why I do like to be beside the Sydney seaside. They are rather becoming, don't you think? Such healthy outdoor life is conducive to the fine physique of Australia's womanhood. This is one of the most spectacular beach parades to be seen in the world. These bronzed giants are the men who voluntarily devote their leisure moments to the worthy cause of life-saving. The frenzied shriek of help never falls on deaf ears. By means of stout line and reel, lifesavers are able to fight the angry surf to save those in danger. Then it is that these gallants prove their courage and efficiency, sometimes braving death, to rescue and revive those apparently drowned by the use of scientific methods which they learn as part of their comprehensive training. The Melbourne Cup is the greatest horse race in Australia, but for sheer thrill, give me the Marine Grand National. One more jump, over, and a thrilling dash down the straight to land home an easy winner. Hello, 3 more reasons why we should stay a while to drink in the glories of the South Coast. From Bulli Pass, we look south, high above the tumbling surf of the unbridled Pacific, etching the coastline as far as the eye can see. Moving inland to the majestic Blue Mountains, we pause a while to view the Boar's Head. We gaze enraptured at the delicate mantle of crystal clear water falling over a perfect rock formation. How aptly named are the Bridal Veil Falls. And now we come to Jenolan Caves, entering by means of the Grand Arch. These caves are among the natural wonders of the world, and people of all ages stop to reflect on the brilliant spectacle of glittering stalactites and stalagmites in a multitude of shapes and shades. Travelling north to Queensland, we pass through Gosford. This picturesque citrus fruit district always has the capacity to make my mouth water, and is it to be wondered at? Look at this golden crop of concentrated sunshine and delicious sweetness. and observe the modern methods of removing the precious fruit from trees. This little chap appears to have galloping consumption, but it's just what the doctor ordered for good health. Passing over Brisbane, capital of Queensland, we arrive in time to see the cutters hard at work in the sugar plantations. Queensland's sweetest story continues to the tune of pawpaws and pineapples and yes, we have some bananas. It is difficult at times to associate scenes such as this, so typically Australian and so artistic in its setting, with the fact of its cold commercial significance. It seems almost like sacrilege to think of these beautiful Hereford steers as representing prime beef. But there you are. Life's conundrums are quickly forgotten in the calm of Hinchinbrook Channel, with the mainland on one side and the Great Barrier Reef on the other. Naturally, you're impatient to see the barrier, but let's go there via Stony Creek Falls. These cascades play the lighter notes of the accompaniment to the silvery melody of the Barren Falls. And now we are almost there. Here is where you get the bird with a vengeance. Practicing closer settlement or mass production in the extreme, these sooty terns have their own reservation on the reef. Once the dread of ancient mariners, but now the joy of international travelers, the gorgeous expanse of the Great Barrier Reef, built from time immemorial by tiny insects, is the ultimate in natural wonders. Then there's the byproduct, so to speak, the fish family, using the fantastic coral formations for refuge. The butterfly cod or firefish, so called on account of its brilliant coloring. The poor old dogfish simply can't knock off the spots. With the setting sun shimmering on the placid waters and the curtain of night about to fall, we must part, enriched by happy memories of Australia calling.